From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
The GOP debate is happening right now in California. We talked to Arizonians to find out what they hope to hear from the presidential candidates.
Plus, our reporters in Washington, D.C. look ahead to the visit from Pope Francis and rising concerns about the separation of church and state.
And we track the aftermath of Monday's devastating floods and the community in mourning in northern Arizona.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Yahaira Hawkes.
And I'm Jake Gaden. Thanks for joining us.
Republican presidential candidates are in Los Angeles for their second debate this campaign season.
11 Republican candidates are taking part in tonight's CNN debate. Candidates are considered as frontrunners in the latest polls as Carly Fiorina, Donald Trump, Ben Carson, and Jeb Bush. But what do Arizonans want to hear from their candidates tonight?
Cronkite News reporter Wafa Shahid is in our First Amendment forum where people have gathered to watch the debate with some answers.
Yes, I talked to one political expert and several people who plan to watch tonight's debate. The one thing they all have in common, they want real views, not rhetoric. At Tom's Tavern in downtown Phoenix, political opinion is served up with the lunch specials. The hot topic, tonight's GOP debate, and what topics are top of mind for Arizona.
Number one for Arizona, it's always the top polling issue, especially recently, but we've seen in the last 4 years, is immigration. Border security. When you have the Sinaloa drug cartel and these other groups running drugs up through our porous border, and we're capturing them 100 miles deep in the border, that's a problem.
At Valley coffee shops, the same discussions. Many interested in immigration.
I think a lot of us in Arizona are hoping to see less overt racism than in the first debate. It was really, I think, for those of us who live in the Southwest, which is a multicultural state, it was disturbing to see everybody competing to be the most mindless, really.
I think a lot of the things that have been said have offended and have sent a message out from a Republican Party that have probably hurt and made some people upset.
And they'll be listening no matter what their political affiliation.
And they need to show what they have to offer to the voting public. And the voting public is not just Republicans, it's Democrats and independents. That's what I'll be looking for tonight.
We'll have to watch to see if those topics of interest to Arizonans make the list of questions. In the First Amendment Forum, Wafa Shahid, Cronkite News.
While the politicians take the spotlight tonight, they will have to take a back seat to the Pope, who arrives in Washington, D.C. for a 3-city tour next week. Cronkite News reporter Elizabeth Blackburn is in our nation's capital to tell us about the debate around the Pope's visit.
Pope Francis arrives on Tuesday night, and on Thursday he addresses a joint session of Congress. He's the first pope in history to do this, and not everyone is happy about it.
I think it's a mistake.
That is Royce Speckhart with the American Humanist Association talking about Pope Francis' historic address to a joint session of Congress.
I think humanists across the country are nervous about the idea of a religious leader addressing Congress. This is yet further intermingling of church and state.
Ashley McGuire understands the concern, but believes that people should not avoid the combination of politics and religion.
I think there's a squeamishness about religion in America, an idea that religion should have absolutely no influence in America in politics. But as Pope Francis has said, politics is one of the highest forms of the common good.
Christopher Hale describes the visit as the monumental event of the year, and the impact of faith on politics is unavoidable.
Of course, there is a separation of church and state, but there's not a separation between faith and values and politics.
But for Speckhart, the time should be spent with other government issues.
Top issues of concern around the budget, around education of our kids, foreign relations, issues around religion should be left to individuals to decide.
However, Arizona Representative Ruben Gallego believes any leader can address Congress.
We should be open to some of these world figures, not just, for example, him, but you know, we have the Dalai Lama could also come and speak, and I think he has spoken in the past. You know, Bishop Desmond Tutu has spoken in the past. So, you know, there have been other religious figures that have spoken.
He He is in Cuba this weekend, and then after being in Washington, he heads to New York and Philadelphia before traveling back to the Vatican. Live in Washington, D.C., Elizabeth Blackburn, Cronkite News.
The debate for separation of church and state is also raging in Coolidge. The city council voted to amend a resolution so that it would only allow Christian prayers before council meetings. Mayor John Thompson and Councilman Gilbert Lopez rejected the amendment, which passed 4-2. The city is opening itself up to lawsuits, according to attorney Dennis Fitzgibbons.
The race is on to extend health benefits to 9/11 first responders. Supporters have flooded to Washington, D.C., hoping their voices are heard.
I'm here today basically to apologize.
Former anchor of The Daily Show traveled to Washington with 9/11 victims and lawmakers. They want to convince Congress to extend health benefits for 9/11 first responders. If the extension does not happen, benefits and compensation responders will expire next month. U.S. Representative Raul Girala tells Cronkite News today that he backs the extension.
This is a simple way to remember, and it's a simple way to memorialize, and it's the simple way to show respect and gratitude to the first responders. We need to reauthorize it. This shouldn't be a partisan back and forth. Let's remember the spirit. Let's remember the spirit that got that law passed.
The ZADROG Act, which provides health care benefits to first responders, was originally signed into law in 2011.
Hearings began in Washington today on the Gold King mine accident, which spilled millions of gallons of contaminated water into the Animas River last month. The tainted water carried lead, iron, zinc, and arsenic. That led to a state of emergency in the Navajo Nation downstream. Today, Navajo President Russell Begay told a Senate committee that he has not been satisfied with the Environmental Protection Agency's cleanup efforts.
Nothing is coming forth from them, so they have to really repair that relationship. They need to bring the water back, they need to bring the hay back, the feed. All of that is gone because of what happened, because of their negligence, not taking care of the mines up there.
EPA officials will be back for more questioning into the spill tomorrow, when House committees are scheduled to take up the issue.
The I-10 shooter, if and when a suspect is caught, will not be charged with terrorism. That is the word from Maricopa County Attorney Bill Montgomery. Montgomery said the string of shootings would not qualify as terrorism under Arizona law. Anyone involved with the shootings will be instead charged with endangerment, criminal damage, and aggravated assault. The Department of Public Safety has received thousands of tips, but no solid leads on any suspect. A community is devastated by raging floodwaters.
Coming up, we take you to the Arizona-Utah border where women and children were swept away. Today, we see how city officials are working to pick up the pieces.
And the climate changes. Mayor Greg Stanton is in L.A. to address how Phoenix is leading the nation.
At ASU, we believe the most important semester is the one that starts after you get your diploma, the one called life. So we work hard to help our alumni thrive, teaching them the importance of not only achieving their goals, but exceeding them. With innovative programs that embrace hands-on learning, that encourages real-world growth. Our alumni know it can be the education of a lifetime, for a lifetime. For more information, asu.edu.
I'm an urban gardener. I'm a PhD student in criminology law and society.
I have an expertise in construction history.
I also happen to be a swing dancer. Oh, and I'm a source.
And I really like being a source.
Great journalism requires great sources, and we want you to be one of them. Arizona PBS is building a network of viewers, people with insight into the stories we cover and the stories we should cover. Explore what it means to be a source for the Arizona PBS Public Insight Network at azpbs.org/pin.
Are you a news junkie, history buff, science or nature lover? Then discover 8 World, an entire channel devoted to bringing the world home to Arizona. Watch 8 World on Cox 88 or over the air via antenna on 8.3. To find out how to tune into 8 World through your satellite or another cable provider, visit azpbs.org/world or call 602-496-2308. Discover your world. 8 World.
See this patio? There used to be a motorcycle sitting there, a bike I didn't use and didn't want, so I donated it to public television, and they took care of everything. In addition to supporting my favorite programs, I earned a tax deduction. Turn something you don't need into something you really want. Contact the Vehicle Donation Program.
8 is Arizona PBS, a service of Arizona State University.
The storm that drenched parts of Phoenix on Monday night devastated a small FLDS community near the Arizona-Utah border. 2 cars were caught in floodwaters, the 12 people inside died, and 1 person is still missing. Reporter Andrew Spencer traveled to Hilldale and neighboring Colorado City, Arizona, to see how members of the small community are recovering after the storm.
Crews look at drainage pipes, bringing in heavy machinery to help search for the missing. The residents of Hilldale, Utah offer what help they can, but many are left to watch and pray that those swept away by the floodwaters are still alive. Most in this community are members of the FLDS Church, a polygamous sect and followers of Warren Jeffs. Outsiders are typically kept at a distance, but Chris Weiler, who says he was kicked out of the church 4 years ago, says members are now glad for the outside help.
Right now, in this time of need, it is important to have help. It's important for people to come in and see what's going on.
Lydia Weiler caught a rescue on camera as the fast-moving floodwaters nearly carried a vehicle away.
And then he told them to roll down the windows, and I just started pulling the kids out.
Officials say on Monday 2 other vehicles were caught in the same deluge, driven by heavy rains in the canyons above. 16 people were inside those vehicles, women and children caught by surprise in the sudden high waters. Only a few survived. The youngest victim in Monday's flooding is thought to be just 4 years old.
As I was digging through there, I was just picturing if it was one of my babies out there and just wanted to keep pushing.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Farther north in Utah's Zion National Park, authorities say they have found the body of a 6th hiker killed in flash flooding that swept through a narrow canyon. Searchers are looking for 1 more person. The group of 7 hikers set out Monday before park officials closed the canyon due to the flooding.
After Monday's monsoon storm, 5,000 people were without power due to downed power lines across the valley. Power poles are falling at record rates this monsoon season. APS is reporting that they have replaced a total of 2,600 power poles since June of this year due to the storms. 35% more poles have been replaced this summer because of excessive wind and rain.
Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton is among only a dozen local officials attending the U.S.-China Climate Leader Summit in Los Angeles this week. Cronkite News reporter Nick Smith is live in our Los Angeles bureau with the details. Nick?
Here in Los Angeles, politicians from all over the country have gathered to share ideas on how to combat climate change. Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton said he was thrilled to be asked to speak at the summit, saying it represents just how far Phoenix has come. He noted when he first took office, Phoenix wasn't exactly known for climate change.
I wanted to go in a very different direction, and so in the last 4 years, we've done exactly that. I described our city as during my talk as the comeback city in America when it comes to sustainability.
According to Mayor Stanton, Phoenix has the largest volume of alternative fuel vehicles in the nation. The city uses less petroleum than LA, Chicago, and San Francisco combined. Phoenix uses taxpayer money to help fund forest restoration projects, and they've passed Proposition 104, the Comprehensive Transportation Act. But Stanton says there's still work to do.
So yes, the federal government has to do its part, but local government has to do its part, and most importantly, people have to do their part by making small changes in their lives that are going to make a big impact on the future of climate change.
Now, of course, the big goal for the event is the exchange of ideas between local politicians, but there's also hope that what comes from the summit will be spoken about between President Barack Obama and Chinese President Xi Jinping during their state visit in Washington next week. Here in Los Angeles, Nick Smith, Cronkite News.
Popular energy drink company Vima will see its day in court later this week.
Coming up next on Cronkite News.
The Tempe company continues to fight accusations from the FTC that it's actually a pyramid scheme.
And centuries of Arizona family history and archives are being relocated, and many are worried that the years of genealogy could be lost.
The easiest and best way to support 8 Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member.
Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
Tap into the art scene from coast to coast. Join the Art Beat Nation, a weekly series where you'll experience a rich cultural tapestry of art stories from across America. Meet artists, writers, composers, and performers setting the pulse of the arts in America now. Join us for a brand new episode of Art Beat Nation.
Sunday at 5 on 8HD.
When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Watch us online. Become a news source for the Arizona PBS Public Insight Network. Your ideas and insights can help us create relevant and distinctive reporting. Join now at azpbs.org/pin.
Throughout its history, Arizona PBS and volunteers have enjoyed a rich and rewarding partnership. Whether answering phones during our pledge campaigns, stuffing envelopes, or assisting with special events, volunteering at 8 is fun and provides excellent work experience, team building for a group, and a sense of community involvement and importance. If you would like to volunteer at 8, or if you have dropped off our mailing list, we encourage you to call the number on your screen or go online at azpbs.org/volunteer. Thank you.
The easiest and best way to support 8 Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
If you're looking to research your family's history, some of those documents may now have a new home. The Arizona Genealogy Library at the Capitol Museum is closing. Cronkite News reporter Aaron Johnson found out what's being done to preserve Arizona's history.
Thousands of genealogy documents and research are being moved to the Polly Rosenbaum Archives building. But other documents are finding new homes in other collections here in the Valley and even out of state.
These books contain history that dates back hundreds of years and has been available to the public at the Arizona Genealogy Library at the Capitol Museum. But they are being moved to other locations in-state, out-of-state, or on the web. The Secretary of State's office decided to keep only Arizona-centric material and to find new homes for duplicates or out-of-state documents.
First and foremost, any Arizona history is being retained. I think there was some concern that our office was going to just have some sort of book burning in the parking lot if we didn't deem it the material of value. That is absolutely not the case.
The new home at the Polly Rosenbaum Archive building will be climate controlled to protect older documents. Other Arizona genealogical societies, such as the Irish Cultural Center, have also taken some of the duplicates. Cindy Patricki has been a professional genealogist for the last 20 years and believes the decision made by the Secretary of State to keep only Arizona documents could be a mistake.
They will just have a very narrow audience for the people that can utilize that collection. So having a genealogy collection that includes other materials from various places is really important for family research.
The Arizona State Library Archives and Public Records plans to digitize books like these and make them available online through public databases, such as Family Search, which is similar to Ancestry.com.
Some genealogists believe that Arizonans will now have to look a lot more out of state for research that was once here because of the move, but the search for roots will often take people away from home.
Most people here are from other places or their parents were, so their research will quickly lead them to other states and even countries.
There is a concern that the Rosenbaum Archives will also run out of room, so the search will continue to find new homes for documents.
As for the old location, the Secretary of State's office and the Joint Legislative Budget Committee will talk about how to fill the space left behind. In the Broadcast Center, Aaron Johnson, Cronkite News. The Tempe-based energy drink company Vima hopes a ruling expected this Friday will go its way. The company is waiting for the outcome of yesterday's hearing with the FTC. Cronkite News reporter Devin Conley was in court as the company tried to prove it's not running a pyramid scheme.
The investigation started 2 years ago. The latest step, a hearing in the U.S. District Court. The Federal Trade Commission told the company to stop operating in the U.S. and seize its assets while it investigated whether Vima operates as a pyramid scheme. The watchdog group, Truth in Advertising, also investigated Vima, and their executive director testified at the hearing.
For kids dropping out of college and kids losing all their money, and so that's what really prompted us to get involved.
Last month, the court issued a temporary injunction against Vima and seized its assets. At the hearing, representatives of Vima and the FTC presented their arguments to a courtroom packed with Vima affiliates. Lawyers on both sides argued about the accuracy of their financial disclosures, whether their profits came from affiliates or product sales.
So what we looked at with Vima is their income disclosures and their inaccuracies that they had.
But Vima's CEO claims the FTC didn't fully investigate and didn't get complete financial records before it ordered them to shut down. After the hearing, a statement made by B.K. Barreto, the CEO of Vima, appears optimistic. He says, quote, "I feel like we've got the facts out. The facts support our cause, and I believe in the justice system." In Phoenix, Devin Conley, Cronkite News.
A judge will decide whether to lift the injunction before it is expected to expire on Friday.
The Arizona Diamondbacks are stepping up to solve a problem in the classroom.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, the program that is giving teachers money for the supplies they need.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Tickets are available now for one of the most anticipated luncheon events of the year. Join industry leaders from the worlds of media, politics, business, and education as we honor award-winning news anchor and late-night host Charlie Rose, this year's recipient of the Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism. The event takes place at the Phoenix Downtown Sheraton on Monday, October 19th at 11:30 a.m. For tickets, visit azpbs.org/Rose or call 602-496-4539.
Hi, I'm Judy Woodruff, co-anchor of the PBS NewsHour. Preparing the next generation of journalists has never been more important than it is now. With its groundbreaking partnership with Arizona PBS, the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU is revolutionizing journalism education to provide students with a real opportunity to work and learn under the supervision of veteran journalists, producers, directors, and editors on newscasts, investigative stories, and documentary productions. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, reinventing journalism education in the digital age.
Educational funding is one of the main concerns in Arizona. I had a chance to take a look at how one major league organization in Arizona is trying to help the cause. Carter Davidson wants to make sure his students learn as much as they possibly can.
One of the things that we find in education often is that we don't always have the resources we want for extracurricular projects or things beyond and above the typical curriculum.
But sometimes Carter doesn't get the necessary funding to teach as creatively as he wants to.
We're trying to provide kids the opportunities to engage in the engineering process with materials, things that they, again, aren't seeing usually inside their classrooms.
That's where the Arizona Diamondbacks come in. The professional baseball team, in partnership with the University of Phoenix, says they are committed to helping the community, especially in education.
Over the last few years, we've given away over 100 grants to 100 different schools, totaling $550,000 to incredible programs that are really making a difference in their schools.
These grants help teachers like Carter who are committed to helping their students no matter what the cost.
you know, when you get that call, it's just, you know that you're going to be able to do something great for kids. That's the way I feel. You're going to be able to do something good for the schools.
Being creative, telling a story, and explaining how these grants are going to make a lasting legacy is what the D-backs are looking for in an ideal candidate.
Really think about what they can do for children that otherwise they couldn't do, and just look to expand their horizons.
Helping teachers like Carter can create a better educational environment that can lead to success in those students' futures.
Investing in education in Arizona right now is so important to us to bridge the gap for teachers and students at a time when they desperately need our help.
To apply to receive an educational grant from the Arizona Diamondbacks and the University of Phoenix, please visit their website, dbacks.com/school challenge. Applications are due before September 30th.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's next on Arizona Horizon.
Coming up after Cronkite News, it's Arizona Horizon. A longtime journalist and blogger will talk about how blogging has impacted the media. And we'll hear about a new effort to build an improved general-purpose data storage platform.
Thanks. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.